Welcome to LSC-Tomball, See Me After Class, the podcast where we chat about anything and everything that comes to mind that we can't always cover in class. In each episode, we will be joined by friends, faculty, staff, or enthusiasts to have an informal conversation about topics that interest us. From pop culture to current events, from hobbies to how-tos, we will cover it all with a lighthearted and fun approach. So grab your favorite yummies, get comfy, and join us as we chat and laugh our way through this thing called life. This is See Me After Class from LSC-Tomball, and we're so excited to have you here. So let's get started.
Professor Moussoki, welcome to the See Me After Class podcast.
Thank you.
We are so grateful that you took time to be with us today.
I am glad you invited me to.
Yeah. So tell me, how long have you been teaching here at Tomball?
Oh, teaching. Well, so I'm going to my 13th year as full-time. But before becoming full-time, I was an adjunct. So I should say from May 2006 to August of 2010, I was adjunct. And back then, I was teaching at Willow Chase. And then when University Park opened as a satellite center for Tomball, I studied there too. So when UP became a full-fledged college, I had a decision to make between staying at Tomball, which I love so much, because it is friendlier, I should say, and the decision was to either stay here at Tomball or go to UP, but I chose to stay at Tomball. So.
Okay, right on. So I'm curious, you've been teaching for a long time. What made you want to be a teacher?
Well, it is not an accident, but it is a job I love. And in fact, before becoming a teacher, after I graduated in 1992 from SUNY Buffalo, New York, I worked for public international institutions such as the International Monetary Fund. This was back in Congo. Worked for the Congo government in what is the equivalent of IRS, Internal Revenue Service. But also I worked in the private sector, the oil and gas company in particular, the Chevron, as the last position I held was Deputy Finance Manager. But, you know, all of this did not give me satisfaction until I came back to teaching. I started teaching when I was in grad school, and my goal was to become a teacher because I love to learn. I never stop learning. That's really what is my calling. And that's why even though I had a very good position in the private sector, my final decision was to come back to the teaching profession.
Yeah, I hear what you said about, I thought it brought you the most satisfaction.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so that is so cool. Okay, so like I'm picking up on some stuff here, like the Congo. I feel like there's a story here that's before the story of teaching. Right. Yeah. So can you give us a little bit of your history?
Very good. So I am originally from Congo, and Congo is a small country in Africa, which is very rich in mineral, oil and gas. And so I was born there in Congo to two parents who never attended school. I lived with my parents until I was of age to go to school. Not kindergarten, but really you had to be ready like 6.5 or 7 years old to go to school.
Oh, wow. Okay, yes. That's when you started school.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so a little older.
Older,
yeah.
Right. So first grade, second grade, but because it was a small village, right, with much less than 80 farmers.
Very
small village.
Wow.
Yeah. So the school only had 2 grades, first and second grade. And after the third grade, after the second grade, you had to go to another village, intermediary, which was much larger than the village I was born in. But all you could, after second grade, you had to, the decision was to either stop there or go elsewhere, and that's what I did. So
was that your parents' decision, or was that your decision at such a young age?
Well, my parents.
Okay.
Because, some parents decided not to let their kids go through the trouble of separating from their parents at such an early age. But I was lucky. Every time, like this next village where I went, they had up to 6th grade. So after the 6th grade, I had to go to a larger city to start college.
Did you live with other people while you were in these other places that were not family members?
They were like people my parents knew.
Okay.
They were like family, friends.
Yeah.
But sometimes, like when I went to do for the college, we call it college, but that's really grammar school. Okay, after 6th grade, you go to grammar school.
Oh, and that's what's called college, though.
Right.
So what we say 7th grade.
7th grade, we call it college, but it is not really college.
Got you. Not what I'm thinking of as college.
No.
Okay,
yeah, exactly. So it is 7th grade. So the schooling system is broken down in such a way that you have from the 1st to the 6th grade, we call it elementary and primary schooling.
Right.
And then you go to pre-grammar school. You spend 4 years, and then you go to grammar school. That's where you do the first, second, and third year. You take the national examination, which is pretty much like our high school diploma here.
Right.
Right, before you enter to higher education.
And so your parents, who didn't go to a lot of school, is that right? Mm-hmm. They really wanted that for you.
Yes.
So much so that they sent you to live with other people. Yeah.
And so also, my mother's younger brother, he became, he was predestined to become a missionary, a priest.
Okay.
Right. So, but he never completed his education as a priest. He decided not to continue. But after his education, he went to France, and he came back to Congo and was working in a capital city. So from time to time, he was visiting my parents, and my mother was always using him as an inspirational figure for me to follow. So
I love that.
But we never met with him.
Okay.
Because I think, he was too busy.
Yeah.
And he visited, I remember, probably once or twice in my younger age. But then only after I finished high school, I went to live with him before coming to the U.S.
Okay. So tell me now, because there's an interesting part of your story that when you were going to go to college, so you went through living in different villages, being away from your family, pursuing education. Your parents wanted you to, I guess you wanted to, and then you had the opportunity. You had a scholarship, I think. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, for the scholarship, so I mentioned my uncle, my mother's younger brother, who was, educated. So he was, he was living a decent life.
Yes.
He was making money. He was a public servant.
Okay.
And so I, after high school, I went to live with him. So he gave me just the accommodation was a room and board, and somewhere I could stay and study at night with light, running water, and the minimum.
Yeah.
And so I completed the bachelor degree in economics in 3 years.
Wow.
3 years' time. So that was 82 to 85.
Wow.
And then when I was finishing the bachelor degree, question was, what are you going to do after you graduate? But one thing I was sure of, I was very good at, in terms of disciplines in school, I was very excellent in quantitative techniques, or mathematics, quantitative reasoning, numbers. And so one of my instructors when I was preparing for the bachelor degree in economics, he said, well, econometrics is a very good field where you can probably go and continue your higher education. But the question was, with how much I didn't have any money.
Yes.
And my parents could not afford to send me to abroad to study. And so at the same time, I was going to the U.S. Embassy in Brazzaville. They have a service called Centre Culturel Français, or Cultural Center.
Okay.
The U.S. Embassy was hosting a lot of seminaries introducing the life in America, in American university. So this is the place where I used to go to read books. Economists from here, like Paul Samuelson, is one of the founders, not the founders of economics, but one of the inspiring or person who revolutionized economics. And he wrote a very big book, what we call the Bible in economics, Paul Samuelson. So I was introduced to his literature, his way of writing, expository of economics as a science in Brazzaville at the U.S. Embassy.
Right.
So
so you finished bachelor's. What was next? You got exposed to this great economist.
Right. Paul Samuelson. So
yeah, thank you.
At the same time, there was at the U.S. Embassy somebody from the African American Institute. This is an institute that was traveling throughout Africa, and they have been doing this for many, many years. But I just want to mention one thing. The Congo did not have any political ties with the U.S. For a number of years, maybe 10 years back. And so when the U.S. opened the embassy in Congo, many people were starting to discover what they could learn from the American culture and so on. So in summer of 1985 rather, when I completed the bachelor degree, it was not a missionary, but it was like a team of 3 people visiting the Congo. They have been in other countries. The African American Institute, based in New York, they were interviewing potential candidates who, if they had the qualifications in terms of potential to complete a higher education degree in the U.S., they will, give you how do you call it?
Opportunity?
Well, yes, an opportunity, but you had to fill up a form.
Okay. Like a big stack of papers to complete.
Exactly.
Always.
So, but it was. I mean, the criterion were like, okay, you must have completed your bachelor degree in 3 years.
Yeah.
Which I did.
Yes. Right. That's fast too. So that.
Which I did.
Yes.
Criteria number 2 was that you must have had a GPA. I mean, no less than a C, right?
Yep.
And of course, you had to have a letter of recommendation from your professors, and so on. So, but the process in itself took pretty much more than a year.
Wow. Okay.
To hear back. So remember, so 85, I'm done with the bachelor degree, and then because I was aware of this opportunity to come and study to the U.S. For a scholarship, which was very competitive, because I remember that night we were over 300 people were interviewing for just 3.
Oh,
3 spots.
Incredible. Yeah. Incredible.
And so, but 300 people, you are in a big auditorium, a big room, and they will say, well, if you are here for the scholarship to go and study to the U.S., if you don't, you completed you probably have your bachelor degree, but if you completed the bachelor degree in more than 3 years,
weeds out.
Yes.
So some of the room thins down.
Process of elimination, from 300 we went down to 50, and from 50 to 10.
Okay.
And only 10 people, I was among the 10 who were selected to apply.
Okay. Yep.
Okay,
so now you're in the door.
Packet, right,
yeah.
To get the application packet. So with the application packet in my hands, I had to make sure I have the recommendation letters from the instructors. But most professors, because I was done with, remember the local university back then did not provide education beyond bachelor degree in economics. So with your bachelor degree, all you could do was to either go study abroad or start working.
Yes.
Right.
So that is quite the process you went through.
Yes.
I'm assuming you got it.
Well, of course, but it was after an entire year.
No.
So to fill the gap between 1985 and 1986, I had to start thinking about what should I do in the meantime.
Okay.
So 2 things. I went to do to take some courses in computing, like computer information technology. I was not so dedicated because, I was confident that there was good news for me from the application I sent in for the USAID scholarship. So at the same time, too, I applied for a position in the government.
Okay.
So I started working for the government until the day before I left to come here in January 87. So remember, I completed the bachelor degree in 85.
Yes.
I did not come to the U.S. until January of 87.
Wow.
So in the meantime, I had started to work as a civil servant in the Congo government.
So I've listened to another interview that you did, and some of the words that you used to describe yourself were commitment, resilience, and loyalty. And so that is a big word here at Tomball, that grit, right? It is kind of different words for grit. And so I wondered if you just, in your story, you do show so much grit. I know, I don't think we touched on it, but I understand you had a scholarship stolen from you. Was that to go to your bachelor's degree?
No, that was before going to the bachelor degree.
That was even before. So I want to know how you're. Tell the students, like, tell me about that grit, that fire that you challenge after challenge, hard things, and you. Tell me.
Exactly. So
please.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
So that was before the bachelor degree. So when I completed the high school, before joining the capital city to live with my uncle, I had received a scholarship from East Germany to study. We were 6 students selected.
Agriculture?
Yes, agricultural economics.
Okay, I remember.
Yeah, I was going to become an agricultural engineer.
Yeah.
But,
so that was the path provided by that scholarship from Germany. Okay, okay.
So so back then, we call that degree, which is the equivalent of the high school diploma here. It is called baccalaureate in French. Yeah. So with the baccalaureate, the East German, the university I remember is in Leipzig, Germany.
Okay.
So they came to Brazzaville to select a student. I was one among the 6. And so I had to prepare for the day of departure. So I had, went to say goodbye to my mom, my dad. I remember my mom, she was able, both my parents were able to collect about $300, right, for me to be able to buy suit, nice shoes, a tie, a shirt to travel.
Yeah.
And so the passport were being processed at the East German's embassy. And so between the time I went to say goodbye to my parents and the time I came back to Brazzaville, prepare for the departure, everything changed. So we went back to the embassy and they said, well, you can get your passport back. The Ministry of Youth had actually sent another group of students. These were like activists or students who were in Association of Youth, we used to call them UGC. So these are the people who had parents.
Okay.
Obviously, people who could support them. So, I had nobody to fight for me. My parents, my uncle, he did not have any good connections. So they told us, we could start higher education in Brazzaville, the university in Brazzaville, and then the following year we could travel, and it wasn't the case.
Yes.
So I decided to, stay there and learn economics, and hopefully after 3 years, I had this opportunity to come and study here.
Right.
The difference between the scholarship that was stolen from me with the scholarship from the USAID is that this scholarship to come to study to the U.S., no one in the Congo government had control over that because it was something decided from the school because the process was so difficult. You have to find, based on your application, we had a choice between 3 universities. But then among the 3 universities, one will have to say, well, I want you here for this next academic year. And so the entire process, even if somebody in the power structure in Congo could say, well, I want my son to go rather than this guy.
Right.
It is, I think, not possible.
Yes. So that must have been devastating.
Yes.
How old were you at that time?
I was 18.
18, okay.
When that happened.
So how did you, that just must have been so devastating. How did you continue on?
Well, I still had hope that things happened for a reason.
Okay.
So I didn't give up because, at 18, 19, you still have a long way to go. Mm-hmm. So rather than really staying in, being devastated because of a stolen scholarship, I had to really change my path. I had to select my path.
Okay.
Because I knew, I wanted to become somebody, but if I only had chosen to live in the past of a stolen scholarship, I would have never succeeded in 3 years at the local university.
You said something there that I thought was really interesting. You said you wanted to become somebody.
Yes.
Can you tell me about that? Was that a childhood desire? Because what I hear you saying is that was devastating, but your purpose or your intention of becoming somebody remained, and you still had hope because there was years. So I'm curious about where that. If you can tell me.
The fire was still burning within me because I was inspired, as I told you earlier, by my uncle who passed 20 years ago.
Wow, I'm sorry.
Yeah. But thank you. So I believed that if I, did everything I could right, I could become somebody. By just focusing on the opportunities that were available there. I knew the roadblocks ahead of. I was. I knew myself what I could depend on.
Okay.
Because I knew if I don't do well at school. In school, if I don't perform, if I don't study, if I don't take my studies seriously, there will be nobody to, go and somebody to care for me or to do something that is not really related to my skills, to my competencies, to my knowledge. That's why I always say knowledge is power, right? Because nobody can take your knowledge.
Yes.
When you know something, they can look over, they can probably not give the full attention to what you know, but if you know something, that is something you can move around with. Nobody can steal it from you.
Yes. Yes. So such a great story of, just that inner knowing and desire to be able to take care of yourself and know that you can do it and
right.
You had to do it. And so now here you are teaching students. What is that like for you now as a teacher?
Now, as a teacher...
How do you pass that on? How do you impart that? Obviously, you came from the Congo. I know your story. No electricity. You moved for school. And here we are in the beautiful campus of LSC-Tomball. So how does that translate?
In so many ways. So as a teacher here, I know before you become a teacher, you have to have, the skills that we acquire through education and training and work experience and so on. But in addition to all of that, I believe past experience, things that I've gone through, the roadblocks or the mountains that I was able to go beyond. I understand. So when a student comes to class with a certain story, I know how to relate to every student's difficulties. Every student is different. And rather than just dismissing students, even though, if I am very strict, I will say, well, this is the course syllabus, this is what the course syllabus says, these are the policies, and this. But I believe for an instructor, you have to go beyond, not just the statement in the course syllabus, but to understand where the students are coming from.
Yeah.
Because everyone is different.
I love that.
And so I believe in giving a second chance to students. So even when a student comes with a story that does not really make sense, I try to go, if they ask me for 1 mile, I will say, well, I'll go 2 miles with you.
Wow.
So extending the due date for a test or for an exam or for an assignment.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I will do it automatically.
Oh, yes, we have it. We have it recorded now.
Yeah.
now we know.
But I this is what I do. I really make sure that the student is given all the opportunities that are available for them to succeed.
Right.
Okay? So I have to win the students to buy my story, right? Because why my class? Why not the class of another instructor, right? If they have chosen to come to my class, it is because they have some expectations.
Yes.
So, but also I have my expectations about their learning, because they will not learn if they don't stick to some kind of program.
Right.
Some kind of habits in learning.
Yes.
And so I share those stories as an instructor, but also as a parent, because I'm a proud parent, dad of a boy and a girl. So and so they are. Just in parentheses, my son is in the Navy, and my daughter is aspiring, I should say, an aspiring medical doctor.
Wow.
So when I share this story with my students, proudly, I hope they can learn. It can give them a boost.
Yes.
If he did it, why can't I? Right.
And it is. Just listening to your story, even for me right now, it's like whatever I'm facing, I can push through. I can. Right. I love what you said about your story, how you just, you had to change your path.
Yes.
It's a path change. It wasn't a, road closed, can't go anywhere. It was a path change, and so just being open to that. So I want to know a little bit about you day to day, some more fun things. Okay, so like on the weekend, what can we find you doing? You get the day to do whatever you want. Free day.
Weekends. Well, when I have my days off, I usually there are days off. Yes, away from my computer, away from probably the textbooks or.
Okay.
But should I call them days off? I don't think I enjoy days off.
Okay. What do you enjoy doing on your day off?
Staying with families.
Yes.
Most of the time when I can afford it, we can or usually go out to dinner or to a park. Sometimes we will go to the NASA.
Oh, yes.
To visit just hearing that people are able to go to the moon out of space, that's amazing. So from time to time, I will go there just to make sure with family.
Yeah.
Or when friends are visiting, we'll take them there. Or we'll go to the beach, Galveston, even though it is not...
It's no Florida.
It's not Florida yet. But still, what you are looking for is a way to take the pressure of the work out and to refresh. So, and of course, I'll spend time watching the news.
Okay.
If multitasking, so I have my phone, probably a newspaper next to me, but I'm also watching the news. So that basically how I spend my days.
Do you get any time to read for enjoyment?
Yes.
What's a good book? What's one of your favorite books that you might recommend?
Recommend. You probably it is out of print. I don't know. But
out of print. Okay.
It probably is.
So we have to borrow it from you.
Well, no. Last time I checked, I believe it was still on Amazon.
Okay.
The Strange Destiny of One Grain. This is it's the author uses a lot of anecdotes.
Okay. Yes.
I remember, he will bring stuff from his observing of the lifestyles of some animals, like the camel, and the leo.
So he observes them, and then he ties it. What is he? The name of it, The Strange Destiny of...
Van Grain, W-A-N.
Okay.
W-A-N-J, not G-R-I-N.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so he's observing animals to what end?
Well, to learn lifestyle.
Okay. Principles?
You could say principles or habits, principle, I would say.
Yeah.
Like the wisdom within the lifestyle of certain animals.
Okay.
How do they care about?
Cool.
Yeah. So it is a very old. I read it as it was a required textbook when I was in 10th grade, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah. But I never, it is pretty much a book I keep.
Wow.
I read it the first time in French.
Yeah.
But when I was able to get the English version of that text, I bought it.
How many languages do you speak?
Well, French and English.
Yes.
And of course, the dialects in like my mother tongue.
Wow.
And Lingala, the official language in Congo.
Yes.
And Kituba.
Is that 5?
Well, yeah.
Holy cow. Yes.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Hats off. Learning different languages is very challenging.
Very, very challenging. And so remember when I came here in 87? That was January of 87, I remember. And I was due to start grad school and fall of 87. So I had a whole semester to learn English. But the challenge for me was a bit reduced or controlled, because when I was completing the bachelor degree in Congo, remember I told you I was a frequent user of the American Cultural Center in Brazzaville.
Yes.
So I went to read, and they were even offering some English courses. You had to pay, and I think it was just not very expensive.
Right.
But again, my uncle, when I told him this is what I wanted, right? So he was able to pay, I think, a full semester. I mean, that summer of 87 and fall of summer of 85, when I graduated from when I received the bachelor degree. So that was summer 85, when I was waiting for the final decision on the scholarship.
Yes.
So in addition to learning about computer, I was also learning about
English at the time. So
yes.
You had some background with it.
Exactly. So
right.
We have what is called TOEFL. Are you familiar with TOEFL?
I am not.
This is, they say, TOEFL test.
Oh, okay.
It's TOEFL is it pretty much like GMAT. You know GMAT. For those who
it's a test.
It's a test.
Okay,
entrance,
I do know. Yes, got you.
For entrance exams, so you for somebody who is willing to take to go to school to prepare for an MBA or higher education, you have GMAT or TOEFL.
Okay.
So I did the TOEFL in Congo. I was preparing for the TOEFL. And so when I came to the U.S. in 87, I already had passed the TOEFL exam.
Right. So you had been working.
Yes.
Already.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I mean, it was as if I was, when you think about becoming somebody, you have to prepare for it, right? So I was preparing for...
I love that.
Exactly.
What an intentionality, and what a good note to wrap up on, how you had a hope for becoming someone, being able to take care of yourself. You knew it was possible, and you were taking the steps to get you there.
Exactly.
And so, as we wrap up, I just want to let you say, is there any final? I know we haven't even touched the story of your life. We could do another episode for sure.
Yes.
But in case people aren't able to tune back in, what is the lasting thing you want to just leave that we haven't maybe touched on?
Well, and I think this is going to be mostly for the students.
That's right.
Who are thinking about what should I learn after high school.
Okay.
Well, economics is everything that you touch in life has to do with numbers, has to do with decision making. What should I do? What should I not do? So the decision-making process, just to broaden your thinking, whether you are going to into a field different than economics, you need to start with economics.
Okay.
It will open up your mind. It will will increase your way of thinking, knowing how to put everything on a scale. Okay. If you ever wanted to meet with me, I would of course be happy. Here at Tomball, my office is at in the south side, the building south. 257E. I'll be happy to receive you, to converse with you. And of course, I'm really open. Sometimes I may feel like a very shy person.
Okay.
I don't talk much, but this is, I believe, a skill of mine. I don't talk if I don't have something important to say. So if you see me probably meditating in the hallway, don't be ashamed to say hi. I am a very, very nice person. And I thank you for inviting me to this podcast. I hope we will have a second episode.
Yeah, I would like that. I would like that as well. Professor Moussoki, it is just a joy to get to know you and to hear your story and to understand your heart for students after everything you've been through, to give people second chances and to know that they have the ability to succeed is really heartwarming for me. So I thank you so much for your time and sharing your life and your story with us.
You're welcome.
All right.
Thank you.